hearts race.
And the crowd goes wild.
All across the nation, the Dirt Track Warriors duke it out for what matters the most. The trophy and the glory. This is Gas and Glory, presented by R&R Enterprises.
And welcome back to Gas and Glory, direct from the studios here at R&R Enterprises. And folks, I've got a very special treat for you today. Neil's back. He's back.
Oh, boy, the show's going to be great this week. I'm back. I've got a new drug and feeling wonderful, Kyle.
Neil, I was doing some thinking today.
Great.
Yep.
Thinking. You're using brain, eh?
And you know, since you came back today, I'm feeling a little festive.
Festive. In what way?
I got you some theme music coming back.
The Big Show theme music.
The Big Show is back.
That's awesome, Kyle. That makes me feel like I'm on a pedestal. Thanks, buddy. Do I get a belt to go with it and everything?
Big championship belt, baby.
Awesome. I can't wait.
We're glad to have Neil back, but we've got to get to some racing here. Team R&R had a phenomenal weekend, folks, and we start with one question. Can anyone stop Rico Abreu? The man just notched his 24th win of the season at the Civil War 360 race at Stockton this past weekend. Neil, what more can we say? This is a breakout year for Rico, and his future is bright as ever.
Yeah, continuing week in and week out, we talk about Rico and the wins and the performance that he has in sprint cars and midgets and so on, and continues to keep notching wins out there. But I'm going to tell you, the way I'm feeling, Kyle, and this new medicine I'm on, I think I'm the man. Give me some wheels. I can stop him.
Does this mean that we're going to be seeing Neil Quick at the Chili Bowl this year inside a race car?
Sign me up.
Bulletproof?
Sign me up.
All right. Well, there we go.
You hook it up. I'll be there. I'll bring the
I'm
helmet.
working on it. I'll put the deal together.
Okay, cool.
If I put together a deal for a snowmobile, are you in?
No, I don't want a snowmobile. I'll go Chili Bowl.
Here we go anyway. So, yeah, congratulations to Rico. Win number 24.
It's warmer indoors, man.
That's true, but it's a snowmobile.
Yeah, I'm not up for the frostbite thing, buddy.
Yeah, fun fact, the number of wins that Rico has now matches the number on the top wing. Pretty cool. I think so. Moving right along. Speaking of breakout stars, Christopher Bell continues to make headlines as he went pavement late model racing at Caraway Speedway in North Carolina. Bell was fast all day and led a good portion of the race before finishing second. The folks at Toyota have to be happy with this kid.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. The clock is definitely ticking before we see this guy running these door and fender cars, and definitely with the success that he's had in the open wheel ranks, it's going to continue as he graduates, moving up in these stock cars.
I have a question for you here as we're talking about these two right here, two of the hottest young prospects in all of racing.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think makes it to, let's say, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series first, Christopher Bell or Rico Abreu?
I think Christopher's got a little bit of a head start on Rico, but as it goes talent and performance-wise, they're head-to-head right now.
So you're going with Christopher on that one. He's going to get there first.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of stock car stuff right now, and I think that clock's ticking like a time bomb before he's got a ride and go in that direction. I look for the boy to have some rides next year in the NASCAR series.
It'll be very interesting to see what the offseason brings for Christopher Bell. So we look forward to that. Speaking of NASCAR, Neil, Brawlin' Brad is back. Sparks, more like dynamite sticks, flew after the AAA Texas 500 in which Brad Keselowski and Jeff Gordon, they got together. And after the race, Gordo and Kez exchanged words, and the situation was actually cooling down until Kevin Happy Harvick gave Kez a shove into Gordon, and then it looked like WrestleMania on pit road.
You know what? I seen old Harvick, the instigator on this. I think it's hashtag Harvicking now is what they're calling this.
There's
shit.
like planking, and now there's Harvicking.
Well, it's one of those where he's giving him a shove kind of thing, and that's the new thing for Harvicking. But I'm gonna tell you, Harvick and Gordo and everybody else better watch out. This kid's going to continue to be fast and be the man there. And I don't know how many times I watched that 24 car in the past put the bumper to that old 2 car when it was rusty and make some of those stupid moves just like he's accusing Brad of doing. But good luck, old Jeffro. You're aging properly, and eventually these kids they'll catch up to you in speed and if you want to go MMA style here.
Oh, by the way, Jimmy Johnson won the race. I think that was the thing that was lost in this entire deal.
Yeah, Jimmy breaks out, finally figures out the car and what they've been having issues with, and puts out a greater performance. And not even water cooler conversation on Monday morning. Nobody was talking about Jimmy.
My question to you is this. A lot of people give the comparison of Brad Keselowski. They say he drives like Dale Earnhardt. Do you buy or sell that?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a different form of racing than what it was back in the days when you had Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip and Rusty and Bill and Neil Bonnet and those guys. It's a different form of racing completely, even the way, I mean, we're talking about these guys throwing fists and punching each other and stuff like that. Yeah, we saw that with Donnie Allison and Cale at the Daytona deal, but how many times did you see Dale Earnhardt walk up and punch somebody in the face after a race or run his car into somebody after the race? Most of these situations that you looked at back in the past, it was handled out on the track. I mean, the days where Rusty and Jeff Bodine beat on each other each end of the track at Wilkesboro to come out for a win, or Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip basically at Richmond at the fairgrounds. I mean, these guys, it was on the racetrack. It started, it ended on the racetrack. Yeah, I mean, they ran their mouths a little bit after the races, but nothing like what we're seeing nowadays.
Absolutely not. And the other thing I think that I was thinking about was, as I was kind of watching this all unfold on Sunday, was, back in the days of Petty Pearson, Earnhardt, Bonnet, to name a few, number one, we didn't have all the social coverage that we do today. Number two, it's really seemed like those guys went in front of the truck, and they may have had at it,
but it wasn't showed. No.
They walked back to the end of the trailer, and they were kind of, arm over arm, and, it was cool.
Or it was a Monday morning conversation on the phone or calling and saying, hey, yeah, I know what you did. We need to get this straight. Or
I'll get you back this weekend.
Yeah, it was handled. It was done at a different level, and maybe that's just the different in respect of what we're seeing in NASCAR.
Very well could be. Moving right along, the bright lights of Las Vegas was the site of the penultimate race in the countdown to the championship for the NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series. In Top Fuel, it was Don Schumacher Racing ace Spencer Massey claiming his third Wally of the season, while Andrew Hines grabbed his sixth win of the season and extended his points lead to 92 over teammate Eddie Krawiec. In Funny Car, Del Worsham, Neil, beat John Force in the finals to claim his first Funny Car victory since Richmond in 2009. Worsham did help Force, though, by taking out series points leader Matt Hagan in the semifinal round. NHRA's fastest senior citizen, that would be John Force, is now only 26 points behind muscle-bound cowboy Matt Hagan. The biggest drama, though, came in Pro Stock as Erica Ender-Stevens scored the victory and reclaimed the Pro Stock points lead over Jason Lyon. The margin, a slim 17 points. What a weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Super stoked to see Erica taken. They've had a great year all year long, and when the chase started basically with the Mellow Yellow deal here with NHRA, a little bit behind in that. She came out of the chute a little slow, can I say, and basically have fought tough, hard as nails, and now back in the points lead there. It's pretty interesting to see, and hope she pulls it off.
Well, not only that, but just to see what's going on in Funny Car, John Force almost having the Jaws theme kind of closing in on Matt Hagan. And the one thing I think is real interesting to make reference here is that the NHRA's pretty much been off the entire month of October. They raced up in Pennsylvania to kick things off, but really until Halloween, October 31st, they had a nice long layover. Do you think good or bad in the championship chase?
I think it's definitely a momentum killer. I think it's a bad situation, especially for guys like we're talking about. Erica Enders passing Jason Lyon in points, and John Force is out to get Hagan in the situation. And you look at both situations, and it was a momentum killer. We talk about it in stick and ball sports. You play every day. You can continue to carry your momentum and be doing this. When you're off, for whatever reason it is, the wait time sometimes slow down, can change your momentum, and somebody else can gain it. And in this case, it's definitely helping the folks in second place gain on the folks that are in first.
Well, there you go. And congratulations to all of the Team R&R drivers on an exceptional weekend. And Neil, coming up this week, this is a little bit into our preview, but I want to get your opinion and your thoughts on this. We've been talking with Dale Blaney, Paul McMahon, several of the drivers that will be in competition down at the Bad Boy Buggies World of Outlaws World Finals down at the dirt track at Charlotte this coming weekend. And I guess from your perspective, what are you looking for in this event? You're going to have a sprint car title that is already locked up. So what are you going to see on the sprint car side of things? And then the late models and the big blocks, they're still very racy and competitive.
Well, just like we were talking on the NHRA side, I think that something that comes out of the World Finals is momentum. And it looks like, I mean, in our championship scenarios, you got guys wrapping up championships, but still we can see a swing in momentum here and see somebody come alive. I mean, we're talking about 3 nights of racing, basically, and somebody can catch fire. Somebody like Joey Saldana that struggled a little bit can light a fire and go down there and win 2 or 3 nights and carry that momentum over the winter in the off season to coming out in Florida. And that's something I'm looking at and seeing. There's going to be some guys experimenting with some packages for 2015, I'm sure, down there.
Yep.
I think that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to some of the silly season rumors being put to rest and people jumping to new rides and new sponsorships and hearing a little bit of that because this is the time.
This is the time of the year, and it really, I think, last year with Shane Stewart's it almost kind of felt like Shane Stewart was LeBron James during last year's World Finals with kind of the decision. Was he going to go with Larson Marks? Was he going to go with Big Game? We don't know the full details. We don't care to know the full details. But what it did is it created a frenzy of just buzz from the fans, the competitors, series officials even were wondering what's going to happen here with this deal. So, we already know that Craig Delansky and Destiny Motorsports teaming up, running the World of Outlaws schedule for next year. This is going to be their first race in 2014 together. How do you see the Destiny Motorsports team doing?
Well, I think it's an interesting combination, and really Craig being from the Minnesota area up there and the team being based out of that area, I think it's a good thing for him. I think that the past experience that Craig Delansky has been, that he's worked with Scott Bennick too, that's something big. The difference is going from a driver like where Destiny had Jack Hodenshield in the car and having Craig Delansky. I think that's going to be a big change for him, and I think it's going to be a deal that may start out a little bit slow as Craig gets back in the swing of things. And you got to keep in mind he's been running primarily Knoxville up in that area by home with the big game car that he was in this year. So going to have to knock the rust off a little bit. May come out strong. We'll see. I'm kind of up in the air a little bit. I think there's a lot of things that need to go on, pieces of the puzzle that have to fall in place for that team to be good. So first move is putting a driver like Craig Delansky in there, being teamed with Bennick. And I think it's a very good team and got very good potential. So interesting to see what will happen there.
Speaking of big game, Danny Lasowski going to be in the big game car down at World Finals. Do you see that team making some noise down there at Charlotte?
The dude's always good. One of those drivers that can come out and put it to it, being on the shelf, to having the time off. And, of course, good equipment that Todd has there with the big game cars. But performance-wise, I don't know where they'll be compared to the guys that have been running every weekend. And I think it'll just be an interesting deal just to see how they fall.
Another storyline heading into World Finals is this is going to be the last event on the Salute to the King Tour, Steve Kinser's final run at a full World of Outlaws schedule. He has remained non-committal to what he is going to be racing next year, or if he's going to be racing next year. How much fanfare do you think that we are going to see this weekend, knowing that Steve's future is, he's basically a little undecided on it?
Well, as a fan, I think it's the last chance for folks definitely to get to see him and running at Charlotte. A lot of day-to-day hearsay of what Steve's going to do or what may happen or may not happen. So it's been a great salute to see Steve run all year long, and the chance to get to watch him through his career be able to do and perform the way he has. And definitely a big shout-out to him and making sprint car racing what it is. And guys like him and Sammy Swindell that are both great guys, and Sammy just recently retired, and just excited to see them basically finish off their career, and both of these guys were continuing to win. So
they absolutely were, and I think Sammy had a hashtag still winning.
Yep.
So had that this year, but I'm glad that
I mean, we could start a hashtag for him again. It's not done winning, because I'm sure he's going to be strong at the Chili Bowl again.
Yeah, he is still running the Chili Bowl. We do know that.
Well, I'll throw that back at you. I mean, Sammy retired, so let's talk a little bit about the Chili Bowl. You got the mad scientist down there in Tennessee that's obviously I mean, his focus is on the Chili Bowl, and we know how strong he is down there. Is Chili Bowl going to bring something new for Sammy Swindell to come out and set the bar even higher this year?
You know, that is the scary thing. That was one of the first things that crossed my mind when I read the press release that said that Sammy's retiring, but he's still going to run the Chili Bowl. And now I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, you're going to let this man sit at home all year long coming up with things to try at Tulsa? One or two things can happen. He's, number one, either going to over-engineer it, or number two, he's going to win by like 10 laps. One of the two things are going to happen. We know this.
Well, I think it's seeing what he does, and I'm a big fan of watching him race and how he performs there, but I'm as a big a fan to watch what he can do with a race car and engineer and some of the ideas and concepts he comes up with. So I'm really interested to see what comes out at Chili Bowl.
It will be very interesting. Speaking of coming out, Neil, we have some all-new Sammy Swindell apparel and merchandise that is available exclusively right now at r-rracewear.com. Talk about the design a little bit and talk about the concept. This is a legend of sprint car racing, and it's one of the car shirts that have been really popular the past couple of years.
It is really a neat deal. Wanted to do something kind of to cap off Sammy's career and some of the cars that he's had great success with, and with the recent passing of one of his car owners, Raymond Beadle, great guy, recently passed, and Sammy drove the Kodiak car for him, the old Milwaukee car. Great car owner, and Sammy had great success, and this is when his career really decided to start to take off. And we incorporated those cars into the design, including his number 91 FedEx car that he started out as non-wing car.
The TMC car.
The TMC car, the black and gold.
Still the best-looking sprint car ever.
A lot of fans say that. It's really a neat-looking car. Got his big game car on there, and that car, too, kind of is one of those cars that spun off the TMC car, kind of black with the orange. You got the TMC black and gold, green and white with Kodiak. So a lot of colors, a lot of history.
Blue channel lock car.
Blue channel lock car.
I think that as popular as the TMC car, the FedEx car, and everything like that is, I think still several fans identify Sammy the most with the powder blue channel lock car.
Oh, yeah. I think the channel lock years between the silver and the blue both were very neat cars for him. And those were cars that he ran and owned. So it was really neat to see. So, but definitely get them before they're gone. I know there's hoodies and T-shirts available. And what's really neat with the line of merchandise, or with the apparel, we've got a line of merchandise that's going out too. So be sure to get it before it's gone, and especially going into the holidays here. Great for fans for Christmas gifts.
We have several Sammy Swindell designs over at r-rracewear.com. So really, if you want to put together like a Christmas gift package for that Sammy fan in your life, it's a great opportunity. There's, I think, 4 or 5 different Sammy designs from this year alone. So put them all together, put them under the Christmas tree. Gosh, can you believe we're saying Christmas tree already? It's election day, for crying out loud.
It's coming fast, man. I'm telling you.
Watch out for those hanging chads and those low-hanging ornaments, folks. Another thing I wanted to touch base on with you today, we've been getting more and more into drag racing, as several of you have probably gathered listening to us. This weekend was a huge announcement. After 29 years, and we knew this was coming, John Force is trading in his white and green Castrol hat for a white and blue hat featuring Peak Motor Oil and antifreeze.
Well,
and this is huge.
It's absolutely huge. Think about that, 29 years. Think about how old
That's
you are.
older than me.
Yeah, it's been an amazing ride for John Force and Castrol, and we've all grown up with those green, white, and red Castrol colors that John's drove, and definitely a big change seeing that Pete jumping on board. But good for him, and good for John Force Racing to have that sponsorship jump in and replace for Castrol and continue all their efforts over there.
Well, you bring up a very good point. And continuing on, John at the presser announced that it's a 5-year deal. So John's going to be racing till he's 70, which, you know, if you've spent any time around him or you've heard one of his interviews, he is the fastest talking, most energetic 65-year-old you have ever seen.
Million miles an hour.
1,000,000 miles an hour, along with 12 coffee cups empty, wadded up behind him.
Well, that's what makes him so good. I mean, especially as if I was in a situation as a sponsor or a marketing opportunity, there's not anybody better to jump on out there. I mean, to get your name and your product out there, and John Force Racing being one of the most professional teams out there, big deal for them, and glad they'll get to continue the success that they've had in the past with Castro and continuing on with Peak.
Well, and there will still be more announcements to come. I do believe there's a few more announcements, one being who's going to be on Brittany Force's Top Fuel Dragster next year. And then the one that I am probably the most interested in, the manufacturer announcement.
Yeah, we've been talking about this a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see John Force Racing being such a Ford advocate and such I mean, not only being an advocate and carrying the Ford Blue Oval for so many years. I mean, a lot of the research and development that they've done that me and you've discussed, and it'll be interesting to see where they go forward and if that relationship will continue.
Well, there's several things cooking in the motorsports world, and I can even tease and say this. There's several things cooking here at R&R. Now, we can't say anything about it. Neil will pound my mouth shut, but I got to tell you, exciting things are on the horizon here.
Yeah, I've been working on a lot of new projects and for the fans and the drivers alike, and really excited going into Chili Bowl. And I think that's what really basing the 2015 deal around for us is really going to be reaching out and doing some programs that are different and a lot more fan interaction and relation with it. And I think that's going to be the really neat thing about doing some of the programs with the drivers and teams for next year, and especially all the apparel and novelty items that go with it. We're going to push the edge a little bit and bring out some new items, and for all you diecast collectors out there, be on the lookout because there's going to be some neat things rolling out.
You're absolutely right. This year, Sammy Swindell, Darren Pittman, and Joey Saldana, folks, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. Midget sprint car diecast, all of it across the board, and definitely you diecast collectors, be sure to be saving your money because there's going to be some neat programs coming.
Start socking the money away from your wives today, folks. Wives, if you're listening, just disregard that last part. We move on. We talked about it. It's World Finals, baby. All three major dirt divisions in action at the dirt track at Charlotte this weekend. Neil, sprint cars in action 2 nights. I'm only going to make you pick for that division. Give me 2 winners or maybe even one fellow or lady that sweeps the weekend. Go.
You know, been pushing on this shots deal, and I'm going to go both nights on shots.
Oh, Donnie Schatz sweeps the weekend and he's already put the exclamation point on the championship.
I think he's going to put a second exclamation point on it.
Probably up to 10 exclamation points on it. So you're taking shots both nights?
Yeah, I think that this is a big weekend for him and sponsors, and a way to cap the year off, and look for him to be strong both nights.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to go Joey Saldana night 1, Paul McMahon night number 2.
I was thinking Paul McMahon, but yeah, as a dark horse, I would take Paulie.
I think that McMahon's record at Charlotte speaks for itself. Oh, by the way, been victorious there in the past. And Joey won the Memorial Day weekend race there earlier this year. I think the Modern Motorsports team finds victory lane one more time in 2015. NHRA is off this weekend. No mellow yellow drag racing, so they sit tight and they go to Pomona next weekend, which will be very, very cool with the tight points battle.
Cap the year off. No.
How cool would it be to see Ron Capps win?
Wow, that would be
the
pretty
finale
cool.
down there.
Yeah,
little Napa
cool.
know-how, you know?
Yeah.
I miss the days when he was in the Brute car. That was such a cool car.
He's a cool guy. Ron Capps definitely have done a lot of selling of his diecast product in the past, and been neat to see some of the stuff that he does, but definitely like to see him get a wallet.
Mm-hmm. And then NASCAR is at Phoenix for the final round of the Eliminator round, the final race of the Eliminator round. Who wins and who are the final
is this
4?
UFC what, number 278?
I don't know what it is. But, I did just find this out before we came in here today.
Yeah.
NASCAR or Homestead Miami Speedway, I don't know who did this. I think it was a co-op. They have booked the UFC ring announcer to do driver introductions.
Really? That's
at the
interesting.
Ford Championship weekend next weekend.
Yeah, that's...
Do you think that there's just a bit of... Harvicking going on there?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little Harvicking going on?
They've got a little bit of momentum and with what's going on and playing off the drama, and good for them.
They made Monday Night Football. Okay? Mike Tirico, while referring to a scuffle on the sideline, says, "Oh, look, this is just like NASCAR."
No, it's definitely brought some attention and drama to him, and the racing, not to be overlooked, will be definitely good the next couple weeks.
All right, so you tell me, who's going to win at Phoenix?
Who's going to win at Phoenix?
Give me a winner for Phoenix.
I'm going with that number 4 car.
Really?
I'm
You're going with Harv.
Hashtag Harviking.
Hashtag Harviking. Okay, now for your Final Four, Neil, who do you think is going to race for this championship? I'll hold on just a second here. I will give you the top 5 in point standings. Maybe I'll give you the top 6. So right now it's Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin. They're tied. And then you've got Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, and Kevin Harvick. So I'll give you the top 8. Those are the 8 eligible. Give me your top 4.
All right, I'm going to go with Harvick,
Okay.
Brad Keselowski,
Okay.
Joey Logano,
Okay.
and who's sitting in 5th right now?
Matt Kenseth,
Where's Gordon at?
4th.
I'll go with Gordon.
Okay. Here's the really wacky thing. All 8 drivers are within 18 points of each other. Anything can happen.
Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Okay, my top 4.
Yep.
I'm going to take Harvick.
Okay.
I'm going to take Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano.
Okay.
And then I'm taking Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman right now is sitting in 3rd place in points, 2 points back. And listen to his stat line for the year. No wins, 4 top 5s, 15 top 10s.
And he's been quiet. It's been so quiet.
He's been so quiet. I am picking Ryan Newman to win the chase this year and completely obliterate NASCAR's new chase format. The only champion in NASCAR history to ever win the title without winning a race. Mr. Shannon, do you agree? He does.
Didn't Kenseth pull that off one year?
He won one race,
One.
2003,
That's it.
Rockingham.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are you going to go against me there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do you got winning the Cup?
You know, I honestly can't tell you. I mean, I think it's going to come down to Harvick. I think Harvick is going to be the man to beat for the championship.
All right, you've got Kevin Harvick. I got the guy that replaced him at Stewart-Haas. Or excuse me, one of the guys that replaced him at at RCR.
Yep.
Ryan Newman. I am taking Newman. I may have jinxed him. He could fall out, not make it. If you don't, Ryan, if you show up here at the office, I am the gentleman sitting in the sales office with the hoodie and Nike sneakers on. Yes. All right. So, yeah, that's what's coming up here. Those are some of our picks. We're having a little bit of fun with it. And now it is time for a very special segment here on the show, one that we look forward to. It's Did You See That? Each and every week, Neil Quick and I find something unique, interesting, or otherwise noteworthy from the racing world to take a look at. And, Neil, I'm going to go first this week. Rico Abreu, 24 wins on the season.
Yep.
Awesome, right?
Absolutely.
I can think of something even more awesome.
What you got?
Did you see the smoking hot honeys he had with him in Victory Lane this past weekend at Stockton?
No, I didn't.
That is my Did You See That? Neil Quick, you must go check that out and then tell me that you saw that. It was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I will have to scope that out there, buddy.
Scope, yeah, definitely scope, binoculars, do whatever you have to do. Make sure you put your contact lenses in. The spoils of victory were great for Rico Abreu. I doubt he knows where the trophy is.
Well, I mean, my Did You See That is a little bit different. Got to give a big shout out to someone we do shirts for on the NHRA side, Angel Sampe. She's been fighting, coming back, and coming out of retirement, and unfortunately she had some bad luck this week. And I'm going to tell you, tough girl. I think you might have seen this.
Did you shudder when you saw the photos?
And she kind of just wavered it off. And yeah, I'm going to have to post some pictures up there for you guys to look at of a true racer and a racer injury and getting stitched up at the track. But, yeah, she got a little bit caught up underneath the bike there, underneath the heel there. And luckily, from what I understand, it's just a tendon issue. It's not an Achilles injury. But I'm going to put out some photos out there for you guys. And not for the faint-hearted, put it that way.
No.
Tough lady.
No, it is not. And I was checking her Facebook earlier today. She's going to be laid up for a while. Like, she's got to be in a boot for 4 weeks and then a cast, I think, for another 4 or something like that.
Oh, it could have been much worse of a situation, and it was amazing to see her tough it out and do what she did and get stitched up there at the track. And definitely a big shout out to her and wishing her well and speedy recovery there.
And that is, did you see that for the weekend? Before we get on out of here, we're talking about the injury there.
Yeah.
She's going to Disney World. So she's asking people, does anybody have any experience with like a hover round or a power chair there at Disney World?
Well,
your thoughts? Or it could be Disneyland.
My thoughts for her, I think she's scoping out a scooter chair that can be modified down there.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely need to go a little bit faster, so always on go, if you know what I mean.
More power. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to Gas and Glory. And remember, you can pick up your favorite driver's gear over at www.r-rracewear.com, the web's largest store for dirt track racing apparel and merchandise. And on behalf of everyone here at R&R Enterprises, he's Neil Quick and I'm Kyle Luters. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Gas and Glory, presented by R&R Enterprises. All rights reserved. Please visit the web's largest sprint car store today at www.r-rracewear.com. The views and opinions expressed in the show are the host and guest alone and do not directly reflect those of R&R Enterprises.